Morning. Welcome to all of you. Welcome back to the Namaste experience here at Namaste Village. I say here, even though I'm in Portland, and it doesn't matter. Many of you are at the physical Namaste Village. Others, I'm looking out, I see Linda, I see Doreen, I see Penny Honey. And I know that wherever you are, that's where Namaste Village is right now as well. Because Namaste Village is an experience. It's a way of being. And today we are being right where we have always been, right here in the experience of Namaste, in Namaste Village, wherever that is. So welcome. And today we are going to continue what we began sharing yesterday. And I'm going to catch Penny up a little bit because she wasn't here yesterday. So I'll do a little bit of a recap so we can guide ourselves right into this moment. So I have been really fascinated lately with a particular mystic from the 13th and 14th century, Margarite Porete, who was a Beguine mystic who wrote this incredible book, The Mirror of Simple Souls. And The Mirror of Simple Souls, this was at a time, first of all, when women didn't write books. And yet this Beguine community began to spread all over Europe, a way of being in the presence of the divine together in community, but without the vows that one would take within a convent or a monastery. These were people who were so committed and they would come together and their vibrancy was so profound. And yet, if they decided to move in a different direction, they were free to do so. There was a freedom and an aliveness that was there that was so compelling. And before long, there were Beguine communities, so probably hundreds of them all throughout Europe, until bum 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 the music sounds, until the church decided they couldn't control these mystics. Oh, you know how mystics are. They're very mystical. They're no longer focused on what they must do, but on what is already done. Here's the key. Not about what we have to do, but what is done. And I was thinking about that right before the session. And since Penny Honey likes acronyms, this is not exactly an acronym, but if you look at the word do and the word done, obviously the word done has those first two letters, D-O, do in the beginning, and then N-E, which means nothing else. Just do nothing else. Just be with the fact that it is done. Salvation has been won. You don't need to change. You don't need to do anything other than love, because that is what you are. That is who you are. There's nothing else but that love. And this is what the Beguines realized. They realized that God is love, and therefore so am I. And within that experience, they were undone. This is part of the only doing there really is to be undone by grace. And so Marguerite began writing this book, this beautiful book, The Mirror of Simple Souls, wherein she had a dialogue, and the dialogue was between three different beings. One was the soul, which is Marguerite. The second is love, which is love or the divine. And the third, this is interesting, the third was reason. So reason was that other voice, that the egoic voice, the split mind that slips in and says, yeah, but. And this dialogue between these three, the soul, love, and reason, it was a classic. And this book began to spread throughout Europe, and people were being set on fire with it. Now, this we cannot we cannot have, says the church, says the establishment. We can't have people thinking that they are done, that there's nothing that they must do to achieve salvation. And in fact, one of the real issues that the church or the establishment had with this is that the character of love would proclaim that once you come to this point of full release and full expression of of this grace, then there is no need for you to do anything else, to follow any code of morality, for you to be concerned about any virtues. Now, the church heard this and said, wait a minute, are you saying that you don't need to go to church on Sunday, that you don't need to follow the commandments, you don't need to do this, you don't need to do that? And the answer was, yes, that's right. And yet, because grace is always leading us deeper into the experience of love, we do it anyway, because this is the natural way of being, to love, and all of the expressions of love become natural. Oh no, says the establishment. We can't have you doing that and saying you're undoing everything else. And so they had a bit of a problem. And they had to bring Marguerite before the Inquisition, the inquisitors. She was thrown into prison and told that she had to recant everything that she had said. They had to collect every copy of the Mirror of Simple Souls and had them all burned because this was heretical. And they forced her, or at least tried to force Marguerite into saying, okay, I take back everything I said because I want to save my life. I don't want to be burned at the stake. I mean, isn't that incredible that love would choose to burn one who has already been burned? Because the experience that Marguerite wrote of is simply throwing oneself into the fire, throwing oneself so into the heat of that burning fire that there is nothing left to burn. So 2 years later, when Marguerite simply said, I'm not going to participate in this, I'm not going to recant what love has taught to me. I'm on fire with this love. So burn me if you will, but there's nothing left to burn because I've been burned by grace. Everything that could have been burned away has already left me. And that's what happened on June 1st of 1310, I believe it was. They took her life in that pyre. And it was said by all of those who watched, it was with astonishment that they watched her in complete openness and a face filled with light and love step upon that pyre. So this is where we find ourselves now, all these hundreds of years later. The interesting thing is they didn't even know who wrote this book, I think until the 1970s when the research revealed Marguerite, this holy woman, this Beguine mystic. So what I have been doing is allowing myself to be done, no more doing, and yet within the doneness of this experience of grace, something always steps forward. And for me, that's always going to be something creative. So what I've been doing is allowing that same conversation that Marguerite had, not necessarily with that character of reason, but certainly the soul and love. And so I'm just allowing this conversation to unfold, and I've been writing it out. Where the character of love comes from when I write a question as the soul, the character of love just responds from somewhere deep within me, and I'm just there to scribe what she says. So I'm going to invite you now to take a deep breath and to fall backwards, fall into this experience of love. And we'll share one of these conversations now. The soul says, love, how would you define the path for releasing my dependence on the separated self and then dissolving through the process of annihilation allowing my soul to be released from every attachment. And love says, first, remember that there is no process, no path, no destination for the soul to journey. The soul is where it has always been, remaining there beyond what you think of as time. There is no time when the soul was without. So a process leading to where it has always been is meaningless. Beloved one, the path you seek is not a path at all. It is an undoing, not a journey forward, but a falling inward. It begins the moment you grow weary of becoming anything and consent at last to be nothing. The soul then says, to be nothing, that sounds like death. Oh, it is a death, says love, but not the death that you fear. It is the sweet relinquishment of all that is not you, until only I remain. You call it annihilation, but I call it union. The flame does not mourn the wick when it turns to light. But I've spent my whole life trying to become perfect and holy and worthy, soul says. Would you have me abandon all of that? Oh, yes, especially that. Holiness fashioned by your striving, holiness fashioned by your striving is still yours, and what is yours cannot be mine. Only when you finally stop reaching out your hands will you be free to receive me. Only when you let go of the idea of worthiness will you see that you are worthy only because I am within you. What then must I do? The soul asks. Nothing. That is the holiest of all acts. Do not climb, do not grasp, do not adorn your soul in virtue like a veil. Be still, be bare. Consent to be seen by me as I see you, without effort, without defense, without name. But if I surrender everything, what remains? Only me, only love. And I am not other than you, little one. I am what you are beneath the illusory self. In our union, the singer vanishes and only the song remains. The drop falls into the ocean and becomes the ocean. What is lost? Only the illusion of separation. What is gained? The all. Then the soul asks, so to release the self is to return to you? Not to return, but to remember. You were never apart from me. You only dreamed you were, and now as you awaken, you dissolve. Then let me vanish, says the soul. Let me vanish, beloved. Let me fall into you like a shadow into light. Love responds, come then, not as a seeker, but as silence itself. Come naked of need, and I shall clothe you in nothing but flame, and you shall burn without end. And what about God? The soul asks. Must I also give up my longing for that union, or is it the same? Ah, your longing, that sacred ache. It has brought you far, hasn't it? Like the fragrance that leads the bee to the flower. But even longing, holy as it seems, is still a movement of self. It says, I lack, I yearn, I seek. But where there is I, Union remains hidden behind the veil of distance. But without judging, soul asks, what draws me to God? Without longing, rather. Without longing, what draws me to God? What keeps me moving toward the light? Love says, nothing will draw you anymore because you no longer see yourself outside the light. You have stopped circling the flame and have become the burning itself. Longing is for those who still believe there is a distance to cross, but union is not movement. It is stillness, deeper than breath, older than time. Soul says, so then, is longing a grace or a hindrance? Both. Longing is the final grace and the final obstacle. It awakens you from sleep and then must itself be surrendered. You must be willing to say, even this desire I offer to the fire. Even this desire I offer to the fire. Only then does God cease to be a goal and is revealed as your very being. Then I must give up even the idea as something to reach. Yes, soul, love says. God is not found at the end of the path, my love. God is the vanishing of the path. As long as you walk toward anything, you walk away from everything. But when you stop, fall, disappear, there is God, closer than breath, ungraspable, because nothing is left to grasp. Soul says, so I give up not God, but the idea of God. Yes. And in that emptiness, you will find not a God made in the image of your longing, but the formless flame that is your longing, the one who has never been apart from you. And you will say, you will not say, I have found God, but only this. There is no I. There is only God. Then let the ache I feel become silence, soul says, and let silence become God. Take a deep breath now and let that silence and that ache, that longing, that dissolving, that annihilation be drawn inward, wrapping itself around the one that is known forever. Nothing left to do. All is done. Nothing left to accomplish. All is done. Nothing left to seek. All is done. And so you relax into the doneness of your holy self, whole and complete now and forever. And so in that, maybe we'll give it a few more seconds. For me, that conversation with love is so rich and real. Just letting go of any need or any striving, falling inward, as love says, falling inward, not trying to move forward. This is the key. So, Penny Honey, I know you missed yesterday, but hopefully you are well up to speed and can take it from there.
And we breathe. Yeah. And so it is. I love that I love the do to the done. That's awesome.
Thought you might like that.
I loved it. Yeah. And coming from a doer, which is who I am, um, there is a sense in this and listening to this conversation with love. There is a sense that all the doing, required, not required, whatever that is, but the releasing of any attachment to it and knowing that we are whole, complete, perfect in the expression that we are. There is nothing else for us to add. So little value do we find when we start to these add ons that we do in our lives. They keep us busy, they keep us doing. And I can say that as a professional doer. I like to say, there's 24 hours in a day, and I'm going to get my money's worth out of every one of them. And then you hear a conversation like this, and you say, really? Is that what you're called into? Is that what you're being invited to fall forward into? I offer this up about that undoing. It is there that the fire has the opportunity to guide us and serve as a light as the path is no longer needed. It is the inspiration and the connection and the remembering that we are one with all that is, and there is no path to seek, to search out, because the fire within us is leading the way and lighting the way. And that is who we are. And there's no doing in that, there's only being. And it is an honor to be reminded of that and to stand with each of you as you remember that about yourself. This is how we move and fall into our greatest expression. That fire is the power of release, that annihilating anything that separates us from our knowing, the knowing of our own divinity. Yeah, I say let's fall into that. Yeah. And I say it is the reflection that I see in each and every one of you, and that we have the opportunity to see in each other, that fire, that life, that releasing of any separation. It's amazing how clear things can get, isn't it? James, it's an honor to be with you today, and it's an honor to be with each and every one of you. We are the light, we are the fire, we are that expression. Let's fall forward.
Hmm. Yes, indeed. Let's fall forward, inward, everywhere word, and realize that we are no longer doers, we are doners. It has been done a long time ago, before time even began. Time is the proclamation that there's something we still have to do. Oh my gosh, there's still some time on the clock. There's something I have to do before that final little click happens and time is over. Nope, it was over a long time ago. Just the idea, the thought that there's something I need to add, the add-on that you mentioned. There's always something that I can add on. But I like the line where it says something to the effect of anything I think I have to do. I forget. Hold on, let me see if I can find it here. It was a beautiful line, so I don't want to mess it up. I just love this conversation. Here it is. It says, as long as you walk toward anything, you walk away from everything. Feel that just for a moment. As long as you think you have to walk toward anything, you walk away from the experience of everything now, this moment, whole, complete, filling me with love. It's so simple to fall inward. We use words like annihilation, and it sounds violent, but annihilation is just the letting go of what isn't and falling back into what is. And what is you, the truth of you, the wholeness of you, the now of you. So before we end, Penny, any final words before we send them off to be doners rather than doers?
So go out there and be done. Right? So go out there and be the greatest done that you're called into.
Amen. So to that we say, Amen, Amen,
Um,
Amen, y punto, period. It is done. We love you all. Vicky and Penny will be here tomorrow, and I'm sending you all off now in that experience of love that has no boundaries. Just throw yourself into the fire today. Let it be done. Amen. Have a great day, everyone.